Hi you guys, what is up? Oh my gosh, did you hear that voice crack? Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new vlog. Welcome to the first video in the 2025 reset series. I feel like by now, mid-November, nope, it's definitely December. What the heck is the date? What's going on? It is December 16th. I feel like by now I really have my shit together for the new year. I'm someone who I really like to start setting my goals and thinking about my goals early because I just think they end up a bit more thought out than when it's like December 31st and I'm just like rushing to set a goal just to set a goal. So the last 2 years I've really started like end of November starting to brainstorm, reflect on that year's goals, see what I want to carry over into next year, maybe push myself more, maybe scrap a goal. This year I just haven't, not like I haven't been feeling it, but I think it's just been so busy. Work has been busy, both jobs have been really busy, and the holidays are just passing by so fast that I feel like I don't have any time to get my life together. But the one aspect of my life that I do have together is my finances and like my financial, well, I wouldn't say my finances are together, but my financial goals for 2025. So I thought we could sit down today, like two friends in a coffee shop, just hanging out and chat about my 2025 financial goals. I do really like posting these videos early if I can, because I do think for myself, I am always looking up what other people are setting for their goals to give myself examples of what I can set for mine. I've got them all written down here. I've been reflecting on them for the last few weeks. I will say a lot of them are more mindset related this year. I don't have a ton of like save XYZ, invest XYZ. I feel like I'm at a place where I don't really know how to word it. I am trying to figure out like the next big thing. I want 2025 to be the year that I really work on like my financial mentality and my mindset. I guess I should introduce myself and give a little bit of a financial backstory, because I feel like these videos, sometimes new people come along, they may not know you, and knowing someone's financial history can be kind of important to know like why they're setting the goals they set. So hi, my name's Carter. I'm 27. I talk all about getting through life in my 20s unfiltered. I live in Ontario, Canada with my husband and my two dogs. We have a 100-year-old fixer-upper, and we got married this year. We eloped. A little bit of a financial backstory. I have really awful impulse spending tendencies. I have had maxed out credit cards. Well, I did have maxed out credit cards from the second I turned 18, because I didn't know anything about financial literacy. I wasn't taught until I was probably 21, 22. So much consumer debt, probably around $10,000. And I also had about $10,000 of student loans. My biological father did pay for my 4 years of schooling. I took a 5th year for mental health reasons, and so I was paying for that out of pocket. Just didn't know how to budget. I was making really good money. I was working at the hospital while I was in university, and I didn't know how to budget. I had a lot of financial responsibility. I have a horse. I paid, board and showing and my car and all that stuff, but I didn't know how to budget. And I just wanted everything, and I thought I could have everything at once. And so graduated university with consumer debt and student loans, and I just wanted to get my financial shit together, honestly. And then Matt and I moved in together in May of 2020. Kind of knew that that's when I had to get my shit together if someone was going to rely on me for half of the rent, half of the utilities. And Matt just really had it together, and I found it really, really inspiring. He's been a huge motivator in like my financial journey. I started reading the books. I started listening to the podcast and teaching myself everything there is to know about financial literacy. I worked 2 full-time jobs in 2 different hospitals to pay off my consumer debt and my student loans. Doing YouTube, like just starting, really putting the pedal to the metal on YouTube. Then I was uploading like 3 times a week. I honestly don't know how I did it looking back on it now. I was able to pay off my credit cards, pay off my student loans. I mean, it did help too, the pandemic, right? Like we were stuck at home, we couldn't really travel. Bought our first condo, our first house in May of 2021, and we were there for about a year and a half. So we have a COVID interest rate of 1.8%. We bought this house in November? Just before October 2024. We're in 2024. And I feel like this past year has been kind of crazy, and just trying to find our footing and our balance with a new budget. Having a fixer-upper, we have what we like to call a surprise fixer-upper. We bought this house thinking we were going to save money, not pay condo fees, and a lot of things were hidden by the previous owners and just all that stuff. Like not things that an inspector would have been able to find, right? Things were really just done half-assed. Like the thing about a home inspection is they can just see the exterior. They're not breaking down walls. They're not, doing any of that. So we have a surprise fixer-upper, and it's been really difficult mentally, financially this year to just find our footing, readjusting our savings and our investments and all that kind of stuff. That's just like a little bit about me. We got married this year. We eloped. We spent, I'll put the amount here. It was like between $3,000 and $4,000 Canadian. Reception later this year in the summer, which our family paid for. Right now is our mortgage, which is around 360. I want to say at 1.8%. And then I also have a car loan of just under $10,000, but I'm not rushing to like pay that off or anything. I got a late start investing. I never think it's too late to start investing, but I feel like I had a little bit of a later start than a lot of people. I was 25 when I started investing in an RRSP and TFSA, although I do have a pension through work. I would rather right now put extra money into my investments than pay off a car loan that's at like 2% because I'll just make more money investment wise in it. So plenty of right ways to approach like debt, investments, and all that stuff. Some people want to pay off all of their like cars and mortgage early, and I'm of the mindset that I'd rather put that money into investments and see it grow right now, because having a car payment, it's pretty low. It's $150 bi-weekly. It is helping my credit, right? It's a payment in my name. That my theme for this year is really to just find balance in like living life, renovating a house, but also investing for my future. We purposely bought a house below our means. We sold our condo and bought this house cheaper, so a little bit of a payout on the condo. And we did that so that we could keep living our life. Ironic, because now we have a surprise fixer-upper, and I always tell myself at the end of the day, like, we have good bones, we have a good roof, we have heat, we have running water, and we have great foundation on our home for a 100-year-old house, that nothing is like imminent that needs to be done like right this second. We have time, we have years to do it. It is a bit of an adjustment, and I'm just trying to find that balance of like living our life and being able to go on trips, experience things, but also fix up this house slowly and do it the right way, and then also invest and save and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my theme for this year, is to just find balance. I think we did a good job starting that this year, but I kind of want to keep that going. And yeah, but I have all my financial goals written down. Before we get into my 2025 goals, I feel like it's important to talk about good places to start if you don't know where to start. One, ChatGPT is your best friend. I fucking love ChatGPT, okay? ChatGPT and me are besties. I am always asking it, how can I better word this goal? Or ChatGPT is really great too. If you give it like one big yearly goal, it can break it down into monthly goals for you. I highly recommend. It is honestly the best thing ever when it comes to goal setting. I use ChatGPT like 3 or 4 times a day. Definitely provide you, like if you say like, these are my current debts, these are my current goals, it can help you draft up goals. I highly recommend using it. Not sponsored, I wish. But good places to start: building an emergency fund. First $1,000 is always the hardest. Paying off high interest debt, whether it's student loans, credit cards, if your car maybe has a high interest rate. If you have a specific saving goal, saving for a house, saving for a vacation. Like I said, ChatGPT can help you come up with a bunch. It also is really great at coming up with like mindset goals. Anyways, those are kind of some places I would start. You could also look at like specific categories. Like, I would like to reduce my eating out spending by 50%, or I would like to invest XYZ. I'd like to learn about this. I'd like to read 5 financial literacy books. There's so many goals, and I feel like these videos can help too. I love watching other people's goals on this. Let's get my numeric goal out of the way, just because I actually only have one. I'm setting a little bit of a loftier investing goal this year, which I don't know, we'll see, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I'd like to invest $15,000. I found $10,000 was very doable. And if you take like the months in the year, so there's 12 months, if you did $12,000, that would be $1,000 a month. And then I definitely think there's a few months where like I'll either get a bonus, or like I'll pay myself a bonus from the business, or I'll just pay myself more that I can put some extra money into investments. I like to put a huge chunk in right before tax season, because contributing to your RSP obviously brings down your taxable, you know, amount. I'm gonna do 15 because 10 was definitely achievable, and I definitely think 15 is a little bit of a push, but it's not too far. I really want to get better about a pay myself first model, which is basically the concept of when you get paid, you put your money into savings and investments, and then you pay your bills, and then whatever's left over is what you have to spend. I'm definitely more of like a bills spending, the leftover goes into savings and investments. And so I want to really work on a pay myself first model this year, and really prioritize getting that money into savings and investments first, paying bills, and then the rest is what I have to spend and working off that amount. So that is my one like numeric goal for the year. Like I said, it's a really big mindset year for me, and a lot of goals that just don't have like a specific tied number amount. Next goal is to better utilize my sinking funds. This was the year I got into sinking funds, and I definitely did a lot of trial and error to see what worked for me, what didn't work for me. Come to realize a few things. One, when I fall off, and very all or nothing. If I forget to track my sinking funds for like 1 month, I'm like, I'm over this. I'm gonna stop contributing. Like, I have a very all or nothing mindset, which is another goal I have to work on this year. I suck at tracking them. I suck at the mentality of like sinking funds are there for you to use the money, but when I take money out, I get really frustrated with myself, even though that's what it's there for. And so I don't like to track it. And I was good about putting money away like for a few chunks of the year, and then I kind of fell off the bandwagon. So I just want to be more consistent. I think going into 2025, knowing exactly how much money I want to put aside every month for this will help. With sinking funds, you can either have like buckets, like some banks will let you do buckets, or just one account that you know kind of what's in there for what sinking fund. And as a visual person, I tried that this year. I cannot do it. I got to go back to the separate accounts. It's just what works best for me. First step in this was to identify all the sinking funds that I wanted to have, and then assign the target amounts and then deadlines for each fund. So for example, I actually want to have a separate home. It's going to be split between a home emergency fund and a home sinking fund, just because we have some renovations coming this year. And so that one is hard because I don't have a set amount for the year, but like I know, for example, right now we're just waiting on a quote for our upstairs bathroom. So I'm waiting for that quote to know that what my half of that is going to be, so I know what to put in that home sinking fund. That one is a little bit more of a, as projects come up, we'll put money into it so that when the project happens, the money's there and it's ready to go. I don't think will be so much of like a monthly saving, but more so when the project comes up. Fun money, I would like to put $100 a month into. I used to be a really big impulse spender. I still am. Like, you're never going to be 100% perfect. It's like having money put aside for like oopsies, or if a sale happens, or for example, this week is a big week. We have Still's vet appointment, and I also have a hair appointment. I get my hair done like once or twice a year. And just having that money put aside for hair appointment, more like fun money. I'm gonna cross the border tomorrow and pick up a few groceries, so I have like, you know, money put aside for that. So I want to put $100 aside for fun money every month. And then for gifts and holidays, I'd like to put $100 aside as well. So right now my sinking fund categories are gifts and holidays, fun money, home, and then I'm also doing a travel one as well. Travel will be like home in terms of I'm gonna only just kind of be putting money aside when we have trips coming up. February, March, we're doing a Disney cruise, and then we're gonna do 3 days in the parks. We are vlogging the cruise, so that will be a business expense, but we're gonna spend a few days in the parks. I won't vlog that or anything, so that will just be like a personal expense. So basically I need to take half of that trip, since Matt and I split our vacations, and put that money aside. So just so that it's there when the trip comes, but that's something I need to sit down and be like, okay, realistically, how much, you know, do we need to have put aside for that? So I have a few sinking funds that are monthly expenses, and then a few that are kind of like those more one-off. It's nice to just know that you have it there when, you know, the home renovation comes up, the travel comes up. What I want to do is maybe automate the transfers. I think that will help me to be consistent with it. Automating those sinking funds that have the monthly targets. That way, you know, I don't even have to think twice on payday. Let's say every payday you could do $50 for your gifts and $50 for the fun money, right? So I don't even have to think about it. It's already done. And then also I'm a really visual person, so I want to almost come up with a system to use like a graph or a chart to just kind of visually see progress and help me kind of stay motivated. I think I need to be better this year about treating sinking funds like a fixed bill. Like as soon as I get paid, putting all those allocations where they need to go, right? Like I don't think twice about my car payment or the mortgage. But when it comes to sinking funds, I'm like, do I really need to do this? Like it's fine, I'll just do double next month. But I really want to start treating my sinking funds like a fixed bill and just transferring the money immediately when I get paid. I think it's important to reevaluate, especially because some of those sinking fund categories are kind of sporadic, like home projects and then also travel. So making sure that I'm reevaluating the categories and the amounts, probably I'd say every quarter, so every 3 months, and then I can adjust the contributions if need be. Sometimes I find it easier to do like a lump sum sinking fund like transfer. So let's say I pay myself a bonus or I get a bonus from work. I find it easier to like take a lump sum of money sometimes and just divvy that up into the sinking funds. I'm almost wondering if I should like take my first pay of 2025 like from the business and just like allocate those sinking funds so that we're like off to a start. I don't know, but we're kind of starting from zero because of course like Christmas is like, you know, we've been buying presents from that, and then our travel one doesn't have any money in it. Well, my fun money has a couple hundred, but like that will go towards my hair this week. So we're kind of starting from ground zero, and so we're gonna play around, try some things out, see how it goes, but definitely want to try and like optimize my sinking funds and just be better about like utilizing them to the fullest and being consistent with them. Okay, next goal is to invest in my health and wellness more. I suck at this, you guys. For some reason, I cannot spend money on health and wellness. Like, I can buy protein powder, but for example, they opened up a Pilates studio not too far from us. I really want to try some classes out, but I really struggle to like spend money on like my wellness. It feels really guilty to me. Like, oh, that money could be used for a home project, or that money could be used for this. And so I want to work on reframing my guilt as self-care. I think I just want to get better about budgeting for it. And like, it's okay to like maybe go to a Pilates class like once or twice a week. And if you can budget for it and it's in your budget, like that's okay as long as you're allocating the money for it. And I'd rather maybe not take a trip to HomeSense, or I don't know, go to a vintage market and spend $100 there, and I'd rather put that towards like my health and wellness. I think this also comes along too with some positive affirmations and like reminding myself that spending money on my health and wellness is a long-term investment to myself and it's okay to do. So I'm gonna kind of set a mini goal for this, and in January I'm hoping that the Pilates studio will have like a Boxing Day sale and I can buy like a 1-month trial pass and not feel guilty about it. Like, I'm gonna budget for it, I'm gonna allocate it in the budget, I'm gonna invest in one health related item this month. I'm going to remind myself with affirmations that this is a long-term investment in myself and it's okay to spend money on myself when it comes to health and wellness. But this is something I really, really struggle with. Like, I have a gym membership, but anything else outside of that, I feel a lot of guilt. Next is be more mindful about fully using what you have before buying new items. I wouldn't say I'm like really bad about this, but it's something I just want to be a bit more conscious of going into 2025. This also kind of goes along with like the 1 in, 1 out rule. I want to just keep being on top of this. I feel like in the latter half of 2024, I was really conscious of this, and I'm not like a huge makeup girl or anything like that. Being acne prone, I will, you know, buy 2-3 moisturizers at once and see which one I like best. I want to go into 2025 doing monthly inventories and just kind of reminding myself of what I own, and maybe be able to budget for any restocks. I think that's a big thing too, is that I feel like I'm always running out of things and I'm not like aware of it. So I want to also be more mindful about what I'm using, but then like just be better about budgeting for restocks and like what's coming up. That shampoo that you saw on TikTok is still going to be available in 3 weeks or 6 weeks to buy and try out once you're done this one. And that's something that changed the game for me, is that a mascara, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I need that right now. But the reality is I can use up the mascara I have, and then guess what? In 3 to 6 weeks, that other mascara I want to try is still gonna be there. And most of the time I've forgotten about it since then. This is like a pretty big goal in the sense that there's a lot of mini goals. I also want to be better that replacements should be upgrades for things. Like I said, the 1 in, 1 out rule. So before buying something new, I want to be able to like identify an item that I need to finish or part with before purchasing a new item, especially for clothes. And along with this, I just think keeping my space organized will help too. Like, keeping everything visible and accessible and organized will make sure that I'm more likely to use them. This also includes groceries for us, because we are suckers for like, when a meat goes on sale or something goes on sale, we'll buy it and freeze it. And Matt is really bad about this. Like, we have like 25 pasta sauces and I'm like, babe, I'm gonna tell you something, like the pasta sauce will go on sale again. We don't need 20 of them right now. And it's something we've been working on, but we've been doing kind of like these monthly. We'll try and like go a week with just like clearing out the freezer, clearing out the meat that we have. And I want to be good about that too. That doesn't really apply so much to the 1 in, 1 out rule, but just using what we have before buying new stuff. Like, if we have 6 frozen bags of chicken breasts, we don't need to be buying any more right now. Like, they will go on sale again when we need them. So that's kind of like an all-encompassing in my whole life goal for this year. I really want to be more mindful about in 2025. Next is working on my all or nothing mindset in regards to finances. I have an all or nothing mindset when it comes to every aspect in my life. And this is something I probably should keep working through in therapy. Someone who struggles to find balance, and I often prioritize perfection over progress. And so I've written down a few things that I think will help in terms of this. So reframing my setbacks. I'm the kind of person that like if I overspend in one category like on one day, I will be like, nah, we'll try again next month. Like it's fine. Let me just tap that credit card. I think I need to view like if you have one day of overspending or like one impulsive purchase, let's just view that as a learning opportunity. You can return it if you don't need it. It's not a failure. Like you didn't fail your budget. You just made a mistake. And I think I need to stop in that moment and ask myself like, okay, what can I do differently next time? I've implemented like the 3-day rule or like making a wish list. That's helped a lot. I think I need to remind myself more that going over budget is a temporary slip. Like it's not a failure. You didn't fail your budget. Like life is still gonna work out. Something I've worked on in the last year or so is that my budget is a guideline. It's not like a rigid rule, and adjustments are just part of the budgeting process. I've gotten so much better about being able to adjust. Like if we spend, you know, more money on gas this month, that just means I need to pull back in another category. I think this is also where my fun money account or like sinking fund comes into place so that I can spend guilt-free, or if I go over a little bit, or if I spontaneously decide to cross the border and go pick up some fun groceries or something, like I have that money set aside for that. I also, ChatGPT helped me come up with this one, but I loved the idea, and it says create tiered budgets. Every month, plan for different scenarios, minimum, moderate, and ideal budget so you can adapt to unexpected changes. And I never even thought about that. I loved that idea. So shout out ChatGPT. Honestly, you guys, a big theme for us this year is home projects. And like I said, balance. And I didn't really know how to frame our home projects as a goal, so I kind of left it out. But that is ultimately our big financial focus this year is we are redoing our laundry room. We're turning our upstairs bathroom, one of them, into a laundry room, but I just didn't know how to frame that. Like to me, that's more of a home goal. That is like ultimately our biggest financial priority, right? Is to like get that laundry room up and running. I was trying to figure out a way to put that into a goal, but I honestly couldn't. But that is like a big priority for us this year is getting that laundry room done, and we have a few smaller home projects to do. The way we've gone about having Fixer Upper, even though we're only going into our second year, is we have one bigger project every year, and then everything else, smaller scale, we just do if we have the money for. We have like a running checklist of just things that need to get done. Last year, for example, we both got bonuses and we used them to get eaves troughs on our house. This year we're doing our laundry room, and you know, if finances allow for a second project, great. This year, honestly, we did a lot of room makeovers to make the house feel cozy and nice. We did the upstairs bathroom, our spare bedroom, I did my office, we did our bedroom. We did these like very budget friendly, like less than $500 for most rooms. Just these like room makeovers to feel good about the spaces while we're renovating them. And I think that has played a large role in helping us feel, or at least helping me, I can't speak for Matt, feel less like stressed and anxious and overwhelmed about the house, is that we have created a really cozy atmosphere in our home. I'd love to tackle the kitchen this year. I don't really know if that's gonna happen, honestly, but the big goal is the laundry room. And that is like a second quarter goal for 2025. So once that's done, you know, we'll reevaluate the budget, the projects coming up, and see if kind of like finances will allow to squeeze in another project. But that is like a big priority for the year. I just didn't know how to like phrase that as a goal. And then lastly, stick to my book buying plan and be intentional about my book purchases. Now I know this is like a finance video, but I think when you have hobbies, book buying, like variable spending is a part of finances. 2024 was the first year I set like a book buying strategy, which may sound silly to people, but it's a huge passion of mine. It's a huge hobby. It's also a huge part of my social media too. I read a lot. I read like 100 books a year. I was kind of just getting overwhelmed with book prices. I am fortunate in the sense that I do write off the majority of my books because I talk about them on my social media. I film videos about them. I work with bookstores. Do have the ability to write off those expenses at the discretion of my accountant. However, I don't want to be spending that money if I don't have to be, right? Like I'd rather, if I had $1,000 to spend on a business expense, I would rather go on a trip and vlog that for you, or put that money towards a trip and vlog that, rather than like buying books. It was the first year I implemented a book buying strategy, just because I try to, you know, read new releases when they come out so I can review them for you guys. And we definitely did really, really well. I am pretty proud of myself for that, but I just kind of want to take it one step further in 2025. Now that I have like a Kobo, I have an e-reader that I can use that's accessible with my library, and we have a really great library system in our small town. So I just wrote a little plan for myself. And I think if you're someone who tends to like overspend in a category, or you just want to reel in your spending in a certain category to make a plan for yourself, maybe that is like, if your category is coffee, maybe you are going to save up to invest in like a Breville, or maybe you're going to make the plan that if you don't buy coffee out Monday through Thursday, you can buy coffee out on Friday, and just setting yourself up a plan, like a little game almost, for those categories that you tend to overspend or like go over in. Okay, hopefully I'm saying this right. Books I will allow myself to buy are 4 or 5 star books that I've already read from like the library or on my Kindle, auto by authors or next book in the series. I really want to focus on my physical TBR this year. That's a huge priority of mine. I have this year, and I'm going to do that going forward. I focus on like a library first strategy. So if I get a book recommendation and I'm unsure about it, I'll usually read it or listen to it on audiobook from the library first. That way I'm not like spending money just for it to maybe be like, you know, a 2-star or a 3-star read. I also love using Kindle Unlimited, and I've been really in my audiobook era, and I've been loving Everend, which is an audiobook subscription where you just pay a flat fee, get access to a ton of audiobooks. It's not like a credit system like Audible. Oh, and then book of the month is like a nice little treat because it is a bit more affordable than buying hardcovers, because hardcovers in Canada are now like $40. I did write down a list, you guys will see this in an upcoming video, of all the 2025 releases, and I've basically mapped out, I can put a screenshot here, of which books I'm planning on getting from the library, which ones are like auto by authors, or maybe I want to read on my Kindle first, then maybe buy the physical copy, and kind of going into the year with a plan for what to do with which new release. I've also started implementing monthly check-ins where I basically review, like when I do my wrap up for the month, I'll review what I've read and anything under a 3-star that I own a physical copy of, which I'm trying to be better about reading e-copies first and then getting physical copies of my favorite books instead of buying a book physical, then reading it and then being like, I need to get rid of this, I didn't love it. Anything under 3 stars, I will donate, give to the library, put in free little libraries. And then anything I've read on my Kindle that's a 4 or 5 star, I will either, if it's a good price, I will pick it up at the bookstore, or especially when it's an indie author, I tend to buy the copy immediately just to support them. I also have a list on my phone of books that I've like read in the last few years that I've loved that I'm trying to thrift, and it kind of makes it like a little bit of a scavenger hunt. I tend to typically only buy a book after I've read it if it's like an indie author I want to support, or maybe a series, so I can kind of accumulate all the books in the series. Otherwise, I put it on my like to be thrifted list, and then I go on a little scavenger hunt for it. And then in those monthly check-ins, I also, you know, decide like what I want to read in the next month. I'll go through the upcoming releases for that month and decide what to borrow from the library, what I want to maybe pre-order from Indigo. Definitely just want to stick to my book buying plan and keep being intentional about my book purchases. And those are my 2025 financial goals. Definitely a little bit different than usual since I didn't do a lot of numeric based goals, but I think because I don't have a lot of numeric based goals, it's a good time to focus on more of those mindset shifts. I do have a few goals that I'm going to keep private, like some income goals that I would love to hit. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you feel comfortable, let me know down below what one of your 2025 financial goals is. I would love to know. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!